Hey, welcome to the IWCA show. We are so happy to have Ricardo Canto. He is the owners of Mint Property Services out of Vancouver, Canada. How are you doing, Ricardo?
Pretty good, guys. How's everybody doing?
I am doing well. I know everybody in IWCA land is doing well too. We wanted to have you on here because you are kind of taking the lead a little bit in some of the outreach that's going on in Brazil. And so we're going to really look forward to hearing your efforts and what the results are. But first, I wanted to let everyone in who is in the IWCA going to get to know you a little bit. So you run a company out of Vancouver, Canada. It's pretty relatively new, right? It's only been 2 years.
Correct. Yes.
So tell us, how did you get started in it? How did you? I know you had something else kind of going on, but you weren't planning on being a window cleaner. So tell us how this worked out.
Well, it has been a great couple of years now that I'm in this business. Just pre-COVID, I got a job offer here in Vancouver, and I started working with a company that sold window cleaning equipment, primarily array items, tucker poles, and things like that. So for a couple of years, I would say, I started beginning of 2020, and I worked with that company for a while. Was really good, great experience, meeting a lot of different window cleaning companies, not only in Vancouver, but because we sold nationwide, we were able to connect with people from East, West Coast, all over the country, and with quite a few companies in the US as well. So really love that opportunity. And about a few months into that business, I decided to open my own window cleaning company here in Vancouver, working really part-time, just on the weekends. Mm-hmm. And we are still, Monday to Friday, selling window cleaning equipment. Started doing some research about how that worked in Brazil, where I'm originally from. And then I realized that was such a great business opportunity in Brazil, not only to sell equipment, but also to start this kind of, experience exchange and kind of knowing how we can help each other out. So that all went fine. This year, so in 2021, we opened then the business here in Vancouver to do exterior window cleaning and gutter cleaning, side washing, soft washing, pressure washing. And at the same time, we opened the company in Brazil. So since then, we've been working on both ends. In 2022, we started actually working full-time in April 2022 here in Vancouver with our window cleaning and exterior cleaning business. And the business in Brazil has picked up a lot too. Earlier this year, we had the opportunity to meet up with a lot of the people, that work with IWCA, a lot of the companies also that are part of the organization out in Orlando. Okay. Right, during the convention, met up great people, was able to have this amazing experience, learning from them, seeing new equipment, new techniques, a lot of the safety involved in this. And so it was just an amazing opportunity. And then we did talk a lot about this possibility to have other countries, not only the United States, getting more involved with the day-to-day on IWCA, and that has been great. So that's where we are right now.
Yeah, good. Well, before we are going to get definitely into the part where you're helping outreach towards Brazil, but your company has just skyrocketed within the last couple. You've only been doing it for a couple of years, and like you mentioned, you were only trying to do it for just the weekends. It was just a little extra to make aside from your selling of the equipment. So I want you to talk a little bit about how being a member of the IWCA was able to help you manage that growth, because you weren't planning on it, and running a business is complicated, and now you've essentially got two businesses, right, that you're running. So what benefit was being an IWCA member in helping you to manage that growth of your company?
Definitely the ability to stay in contact and exchange experiences with everyone involved within the association. Although IWCA remains as deeply focused on things that are US related, here in Canada we are very close, not just geographically, but also in terms of language and the way the service works. Everything is very similar. Safety standards are very similar. There's a lot of things that align with each other. So I would say meeting up some key people with IWCA, being able to look at the website, even exchange things, through the monthly meetings, where we learn what's going on, giving me the opportunity to be more present in not only discussing this outreach towards Brazil, but also hearing what people are trying to do for IWCA, how they can communicate with clients and with other entities and participate on different events, trade shows, and things like that. So for our business, I think, and everyone that is involved one way or the other, the ability to exchange experiences, right? To kind of have that freedom to talk about what's going on. We all have questions when we are starting. We only know that we don't know almost anything, but we keep, it's trial and error, and then you just keep moving forward. But there's a lot of things that you can, a lot of hard times that you can avoid by talking to people, by learning, by talking to guys that have YouTube videos, people that do Instagram, and that just keeps growing and growing. So to me personally, and also having the ability, IWCA has been really open in hey, we are here to also expand, to grow, to learn. So that to me was like a very important tool to kind of keep me engaged, and I keep pushing that forward and towards other people that are always wanting to do this. So I think experience, the ability to exchange knowledge and absorb things does help the business, from customers' challenges to techniques to kind of equipment to products to how to post to how to advertise, and we all go through the same challenges. So it's one of the greatest tools that I feel like IWCA can help people achieve the results that they're looking for.
Very good. That's awesome. So now you say you're from Brazil. You really are trying to reach out to window cleaners over there. What are some experiences that they have with window cleaning? Like what is the what are the businesses like that you are reaching out to, and what are things that they're facing that the IWCA might be able to help them with?
I would say that IWCA can help us groom like an industry in Brazil. We can get an industry that is extremely new, where people use only traditional cleaning methods, to do windows with very, low quality equipment, very expensive pricing, not, how to say, safety. It's one of the things that it's missing big time in Brazil, right? So there is a gap between what Brazil and some of the other third world countries go through in terms of being considered for their services, right? The value that services have in North America and some of the European countries, Australia, New Zealand, that we don't get in some of those, let's say, underdeveloped countries. And I've been chatting with people in IWCA. That's one of the things that we need to do. It's continue on that value piece. How can we increase value? And now how can we, you talk to people and they say, you know what, I'm doing this. If I fall and I break a leg, it's okay. I'll be able to go back to work in about a month. So that mentality has to change, because a lot of people get injured and they don't have that understanding yet, and then they take too many risks. Yeah. So I think the safety, it's a very important piece. I have some knowledge about how things are in the US. Here in Canada, especially in the province where I live, it's crazy, right? Insurances, and they do spot checks, and then we develop that conscious of not doing the right thing, using the proper shoes, harness, and things like that. So I think that's one of the key elements. Although in Brazil, for example, I find that the window cleaners, they are very skilled. They are a lot more skilled than we are here. And having the opportunity to be at the speed competition in Orlando and see what the guys do in Brazil, they are amazing window cleaners, like the skill level, the determination, the challenges that they have to go through. So I feel like that is where we are. Sometimes I like to use analogy, like, great soccer players, but not a great, structure behind. And when you look at, okay, now we have the structure like the NBA, where it's beautiful structure. So I'm telling them, because people like to make analogies sometimes. So that analogy has been helping. So you guys are good at something, but you're never going to be able to get to the next level if you think that this is enough, right? Yes. You need to invest in equipment. You cannot go, and you need to become sorry, there's one important thing here. This is the crucial point. Brazil is now becoming like the cleaner, the workers that consider themselves professionals. There's this huge transition of, hey, I'm just a window cleaner with a bucket and a squeegee, and then I go ahead. From no, now I have a company. Now I have a uniform. Now I have a vehicle. So now I can charge more. Now I have better equipment. Now I have insurance. Now safety is important. So you see now a few companies in Brazil pushing for that professionalism. And now you see whoever hires them starting to demand that from others. And that has a huge snowball effect. So I think it's a great time to have, for example, IWCA more present. I can speak for Brazil, and having that, exchange and grow together.
Yeah. And that type of growth can only happen when companies are exposed to how things are done in other countries, and like you said, if we can have an outreach and have more of those business owners come and attend the conventions, they'll be able to see how the other businesses are running. Like you said, make those connections, have that interchange where you're able to share, these are the things that we had to do. These are things that, like you said, makes us professional above our competitors. And then they can take those tips or those skills or those qualities back with them to Brazil and try to help to, like you said, slowly change the attitude and perceptions of the industry over there.
Yeah, I think without that, there isn't much progress to be made. You're just gonna reach something very short from what you could actually reach without having that ability. What I've been doing is, I try to share with them what we do here in Canada, right? Through my Instagram, posting things, and then they like. It's amazing. For example, like when you talk about pressure washing in Brazil, people use professional companies. They use electric pressure washers with 1,500 psi and about 1.5 gallons a minute. Wow. And then I tried to tell them, and then to get a better pressure washer is too expensive. I said, you have to make an investment because at the end of the day, the profitability of your business is not going to come from what you are currently using, right? You're going to always be kind of extremely limited. And then I post now that we've been using soft wash, downstreaming, proportioners, batch mix, different things. They look at me and they say, what is it that you are doing? Right. And then I said, what do you mean? He said, look at how we do. Then they have like, brooms and they are scrubbing, and then second, well, you may need to do that with an extension pole, that if you need to scrub, but it's so far away from what we actually live here. And then they say, what is this round thing that you have on the floor connected to your pressure washer? I said, oh, that's a surface cleaner. A what? So, and then it's so nice to see, and then how that can move together. So without that, I mean, I've been so blessed, and getting in touch, with Brandy and everybody else at IWCA. And then, hey guys, I have some good guys in Brazil, good companies, reliable people. They don't have a US visa. Like, would you guys help us out here with an invitation letter? Yes, right away. So so this is the first step. Those guys, some people they didn't know that they needed a passport to travel abroad. Sometimes they don't know they need a visa, right? That's the type of people that sometimes you are dealing with. But then once you start sharing that knowledge, once you start pointing out, you kind of showing them the way, and then they can choose to follow. So it has been great, and that exchange of knowledge and experiences, it's extremely important for everybody else's growth, 100%.
Yeah. So let me ask you, with what the window cleaners in Brazil are capable of making through their business, is it just a matter of learning how to budget and structure your what you pay, what you're using to buy equipment, or do they have a more challenging gap than us in the United States to be able to be profitable enough to afford the more expensive and more higher quality equipment?
Yeah, it's more towards the second option. Brazil faces the opposite of what we have in North America, right? Here in North America, things like equipment, material things are inexpensive compared to the labor, right? And you can think about this: you buy a TV and then your TV breaks down, you're likely not going to fix it. You're going to throw it out and buy a new one. The same applies to our industry, right? Where you have equipment being extremely expensive, because the good equipment available in Brazil, it's likely imported. And sometimes you face challenges with a currency exchange being extremely high. Brazil has the highest import taxes in the world, first or second. You look at about 108% duties and tariffs that are charged on equipment. So it's very complicated from acquiring something. It's not like, okay, yeah, it broke my carbon fiber pole, I'll go buy another one. I work 5 hours. It's more than enough to pay for it. No, like in Brazil, when you put in perspective, right? I was looking at for example, at a simple tucker pole, right? A tucker pole here in Canada, which is obviously more expensive than in the US, but here in Canada, tucker pole is worth close to a third of a minimum wage. Wow. In Brazil, the same tucker pole is worth 18 times the minimum wage.
Yeah.
So for those people that are trying to get better, to get more professional, to get better equipment, there is that challenge, because when they go and they put in a quote for a service, they need to account for all those costs. So it's getting better. In the past, year and a half, we saw a huge improvement, and that is coming from when two competitors are going to put in a price for a client, they try to maintain certain balance. They don't want to just kind of kill the other one by bringing the price down, because it's not really sustainable, and then the work is not going to be good. So that there's been a union. The industry is united in Brazil, and then that's how we are seeing improvement. And the ones that are not united, they are not lasting in the market, right? So all that combined puts a situation where buying equipment is very expensive. Actually charging for your service, it has to be at a very competitive price. And my choice when I opened our company in Brazil was to be able to get great quality equipment that I know, because I use and I sold them here in North America, to Brazilian cleaners for a much better price. And we have been able to do that, right? So when 2 years ago, just so people understand what this is, 2 years ago, a 3-stage water purification system in Brazil was worth about 85 times the Brazilian minimum wage.
Wow.
Right? If you think about like a Tucker 3-stage.
And that's just the system. That's not the filters that you got to replace.
That's not even the pole. That's just that piece, right? And today we can bring that for less than 25% of that price.
Nice.
And the product that they had in Brazil was not with the same quality. So we've been able to. The business it's good for the business, but it's not in a way that we are doing it for the money. The money is a consequence, and you can see, because people are proud of what they are doing. They go, they use the equipment, they put on Instagram. Instagram, it's huge in Brazil for our industry. So it's extremely popular, drives a lot of business. It's amazing. And people really post that, and they are proud. So now they are being able to match their skill, that quality of skill, that hardworking ability that they carry with them as well, and match that with better equipment. So it's been really interesting to see how that progress go. And now we have other things to work on, which is safety, right? Safety, it's the number one thing that I see, and have people opening their eyes a little bit more in Brazil for what's going on around the world, right? And that way they can also better themselves in what they've been doing.
Well, and the nice thing about training for safety is, because that's just an idea, right? So we can, like you said, have a link to an Instagram page that has a video on safety, but like you said, it's a matter, how do we get their eyeballs to those videos, and then once they see the videos, how do we help them to see that this is something worth the time and the effort to learn about and to, install into your business practices. So if they're starting to form a union, if they're starting to get together and be united in pricing and those types of things, hopefully that means they're going to learn to be united with safety practices, and that may be able to help a lot of people with that, with them keeping their business for a long time, not having it cut short because of injury.
Yeah. And yes, 100%. I feel like that's where we are now. There's a group of guys and myself where we try to do that, from even starting to use extension poles, right? Don't climb on ladders in the way that you do. Like don't overreach, don't overstretch your body. Fatigue, right? Fatigue is another issue.
Yeah.
I get guys here, now I'm 5 hours difference, 5 hours behind Brazil. I get guys working from 5 a.m. to midnight in Brazil, like 5, 6, 7 days a week sometimes. Like this is, oh yeah, there's an opportunity to make money. I'm gonna make money, and every so often you see people, getting hurt. But there is a growing, idea in Brazil about safety, and although, because the whole government is kind of structured in a bit of a different way down there, but the idea of having like this entity, like for example we have here in British Columbia, that looks after all the safety regulation, like you guys have in the US nationwide, right? It's one of the things that we don't have. We don't have that in Brazil. We have the Ministry of Labor in Brazil, or the Department of Labor, but it's not really the window cleaner profession. It's not even a profession in Brazil. You can actually fill out an application saying that you work in this industry, because it doesn't exist. You have to put yourself as a swimming pool cleaner, right?
Are you serious?
Yes. So there's a process here going, where we are trying to also make sure that because when you want to register your business, like you're registering your business, but what is, like, you are nothing. Like it's so frustrating, and that has implications on getting loans, on getting a bunch of different things, right? Absolutely. And one thing that we've noticed for safety in Brazil, which is a key element, is solar panels, right? Solar panels is an amazing industry in Brazil, and it's growing exponentially. What we are seeing is now people are wanting to clean their solar panels. And then people climb on the roofs, and then they clean, and then they just fall through the roof, and then they just hit the ground. We are getting daily accidents, and I'm on different WhatsApp groups in Brazil, and we can see a lot of people getting injured. So safety, definitely the next big step for that interaction. And IWCA, with everything that has been done in the US and the way we also have in Canada, it's going to be super important.
Well, I foresee you recording some safety videos in Portuguese that the IWCA can ship over and send, and just make them available. Especially like you said, if you've got groups of them kind of coming together, sending it to the people who are taking the lead in that, and then having them show those under. I mean, the reason why we wanted to talk with you, Ricardo, is because we're there's international in our name in the organization, and for a long time it has, the main focus has been the United States, because I mean that's where the the people who are the organization is, and that's where a lot of the work is, but the outreach is starting to go elsewhere, and we recognize that the industry needs help in a lot of areas, not just in the United States. So your efforts to help the window cleaning industry in Brazil is just really, we really appreciate your hard work, and we're just at the beginning of it. So I'm excited to see where things turn in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, and we're going to see how that industry is helped by the work that you're starting right now, which is very exciting. And we really appreciate your willingness to be to help in that outreach. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think 2022, I'm pretty new to IWCA, but I feel like there's regular, constant conversations about that international word on the name, right? How can we become more international?
Yes.
Even Canada, IWCA, it does not have yet reached what it could be in Canada. We have a huge potential. Each province, has its specifics. Here in British Columbia, definitely a lot of room. And same thing for the other provinces, although I don't work on those areas, but definitely a lot of opportunity to exchange, to share, to talk about safety, to talk about techniques. In here, we need a lot of equipment as well. We don't have the same things that, I am 7 minutes away from the US border. So I cross the border, go to Seattle, and, I go to Florida very often for business. And I see, so even here, it will be great to kind of have this bridge being kind of built stronger and stronger. But for Brazil, I think it's really like the first, it's the first move. We need to get more engaged. I'm also part of, in Brazil, we are building an association or organization where there's some key people, so we can interact into more of a, let's say, institutional way between IWCA and Brazil with some of the key people. So we've been working on that. And it's definitely something that we are building, and we'll be continue to build for the next few years, where we can then have a much better interaction. I've been telling guys, hey, anyone that wants to learn English, put together a group. I'll be happy to kind of spend a couple hours a week, and then you guys do your homework. Either you like it or not. It's important for you to get the language in you, right? You want to watch videos on YouTube. It's nice. You want to talk to people. So I'm saying, hey, I know it's not easy, right? I know people get shy and it's difficult sometimes, but I'm here to help you guys through that. We can just talk about our industry, right? And it's been working well too. So it's a construction that we have to make, but it's really good. And every time that I need something from IWCA, man, I get that support right away. So I'm extremely thankful to everyone.
Awesome. Well, I was excited to talk with you. I can't wait to see how things turn out, and how what things come of it. So again, we just really appreciate your hard work with that. And I have some ideas. I'll talk with you afterwards that maybe we can put together. Like I said, because we're trying to record videos in Spanish. And we're hoping that we can actually have a Spanish language IWCA show that runs parallel to this IWCA show. So I mean, that's an easy transition as long as we have people who are available to be used and have the skills, of course. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But thank you so much for your hard work. And thank you all for listening. We hope you are able to see the outreach that IWCA has in trying to help not just people in the window cleaning industry here in the United States, but we are international, and we want to reach out to other nations and see just how we can be of assistance in helping people not only be profitable in their business, but be safe. And so we look forward to seeing how things turn out. But you guys, thank you for listening. Take care. Hope you have a great week. Talk to you next time.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.